Welcome back. This is another video in our Australian Deadly Duos series. The case involving Matthew Milat raises some interesting questions. Was he a lost teenager looking for attention? Or do murderous genes run in the family? Would he or his accomplice, Cohen Klein, have committed murder, one without the other? I'd love to hear your opinions at the end of the video. Matthew Millman was born in 1992, the same year that the bodies of the first two victims of his great-uncle, serial killer Ivan Milat, were discovered. He was just 3.5 years old by the time Ivan Milat was sentenced to 7 life sentences for the horrific murders of 7 young backpackers in New South Wales' Belanglo State Forest. The cold and brutal way Milat's victims were murdered sent shockwaves across Australia and brought unwanted notoriety to the Milat family, all except for young Matthew. The quiet, unassuming young boy grew dark and menacing into his teens, and at the age of 14, he officially changed his surname to Milat. In the small town of Bargo, southwest of Sydney, where Matthew grew up, he was known to talk constantly about his great-uncle Ivan, and he always wanted to go to the Belanglo Forest killing ground for cannabis sessions. By the time Matthew was about to turn 18, he only had a small group of friends from the local Picton High School: David Octoloni, Cohen Klein, 19, and Chase Day, 18. On November 20th, 2010, David Octoloni was celebrating his 17th birthday. He spent the morning with his parents and in the afternoon went to visit his grandparents who had raised him. His grandparents described David, known as Octy to his mates, as a sweet boy who drew handmade cards for his family, loved to ride his skateboard, and who was a loyal and trusting friend. When others had distanced themselves from Matthew Milat, David stuck by his mate. When he left his grandparents' home that day, he said he was going to meet up with friends at the local hangout spot. Meanwhile, 2 of those friends had been making plans of their own. Matthew Milat and Cohen Klein pulled up at the spot and told David and Chase to get in the car. They were going out to Belanglo Forest to drink and smoke weed to help David celebrate his birthday. Chase asked Milat why Belanglo, and Milat said they'd be free to drink and smoke without being caught, and that he wanted to check out the plaques that had been erected in memory of his great-uncle's victims. After reaching the forest, they pulled up at the junction of the Belanglo Creek and Old Pine Road fire trails. The forest was pitch black as they sat in the car listening to music and smoking weed. Matthew Milat got out of the car and walked around to the boot, then called for David to come out. Chase Day would later say that he heard David scream. Milat had hit him in the ribs with a medieval-style double-sided axe. Klein had already begun to record everything on his mobile phone, and when Chase got out and realised what was happening, Klein told him to get back in the car and shut up. There had been a rumour circulating that Milat had stolen money from his mother, and that was his excuse for the attack. Chase could see Milat chasing David around the car with the axe, accusing him of being the one who had started the rumour. Milat screamed at the 17-year-old to lay on the ground or he'd kill him. All the while, a terrified David denied he'd said anything and pleaded with Milat to stop. Here is part of the transcript of what was recorded that night. Please note, the voices in the background are a reenactment and not the actual recording.
Please. You're fucking dead. Why would I do anything? Please. Get on the ground. Please. Lay over there. Please. Get the back, please, please. Please, please. Please, please, please. Please. Over there. You gonna stop fucking talking shit? I'm not talking shit. Right now, I don't fucking believe you. Get the back, please, please. Please, please. Please, please, please. Please. Get on the ground. Please. Lay over there.
Matthew then told Cohen and Chase to help him drag David's body into the bush, where they covered it with leaves and branches. On the drive back to Bargo, Chase Day would later say that Milat seemed to be on a high, saying that was such an adrenaline rush, to which Cohen replied, "I told you were going down the same path as your uncle." Milat dropped the two home, telling them he was going to drop the adze and his clothes into local mermaid's waterhole. The following morning, after a sleepless night, Chase Day told his father what had happened at Belanglo, and his father immediately took him to Camden Police Station. He told detectives the story later that day.
He got a bit fishy about it, and it seemed legit that they were just going there to have a good time and nothing was going to happen. Matt was calm, didn't seem angry or anything.
Are we going to Belanglo? Yeah.
I asked him why Belanglo Forest, and he's like, "Oh, it's his birthday, let's go and celebrate." And I was like, "Alright, well, what do we really need to go out there for?" And he's like, "Oh, I just want to check out these plaques at this park where I dumped all the bodies." And I was like, "Alright." And that was it. Matt and Carl were talking at the back, and I was sitting where I was sitting. And then I got out, just having a stretch, and then Octo walked around the back, and I seen Matt with an axe, and I said, "What are you doing this for?" And David started screaming, I was crying, telling Matt to stop, because Matt hit him. "You just get in the f***ing car and just stay out of it." And I did, and I went and sat in the middle, and then Carl sat with me, and I was keeping my head down. I was listening to Octo just running around, just screaming, just telling Matt to stop. They took him down, took him down to about here. He said, "Lay down." And he said, "Lay down." Matt was like, Octo was like, "Don't do this." And he was like, crying, saying he was sorry. And that was it. That's all I heard. And I just said, Octo just went silent.
Now, it's been explained to you that you're under arrest for your involvement in the murder of David Octoloni. Do you understand that?
Yes. I knew if I was really about ready to freak out. I was ready to panic so hard, and I knew if I panicked, it would have killed me. I offered him help to make it look like I wasn't going to do anything at all. And I knew there was a knife in the front seat. I felt like running up there and just stabbing Matt in the leg, and so he didn't kill Octo. But I had nothing running, I had nothing going through my head at all. I couldn't think straight.
Cohen Klein was arrested later that day, and the incriminating footage found on his phone.
Who owns that mobile phone?
Me.
Is that the only mobile phone you have?
Yeah.
You're under arrest?
I was going to come into the police station this morning, but he got to me before I could get up and come to use.
Had you spoken to Matt about harming David in any way?
No, I couldn't do that, especially to a mate.
When you were down in the Belanglo State Forest, did you have your mobile phone with you?
Yeah. I was just sitting in the car.
And did you use your mobile phone at all while you were there that night?
No.
So did you attempt at any time to contact emergency services or anything?
No.
Followed soon after by Matthew Milat, where his shoes, still covered in David's blood, were also discovered.
I entered your bedroom and I said that you're under arrest? Yes. Okay.
He was accompanied to the station by his grandfather, Ivan Milat's brother, Bill.
Do you agree that I asked you where the clothes were that you were wearing on Saturday night?
Just don't answer that, man.
Okay. Well, what I'm trying to do here is just to corroborate what happened earlier this morning and the questions that I had asked him this morning.
Yeah.
Is it the case that you're not going to answer those questions about... Matthew, you're going to be charged with the murder of David Octolani. Do you understand that?
Yes.
After police recovered David's body from Belanglo, they had the unenviable task of informing his family of the murder.
Just about to pick up the phone and I've got a knock at the door and it was the police. He said, just please go and get your husband, and that's when he said David had been murdered.
Nothing come out. Stunned into silence, you know. Didn't even burst into tears. I didn't believe it. We had to go down and recognise the body. Just the look on his face and his eyes were, you know, you could just tell the face of fear.
And I started to cry. Both my son and I, we started to cry.
Police divers also found the murder weapon, the double-sided axe, in the waterhole where Milat had said he was going to dispose of it. Chase Day's charge of being an accessory after the fact was dropped after the phone recording revealed he had tried to stop the others from committing the murders and had only helped with moving the body under fear for his own life. Cohen Klein was originally charged with being an accessory after the fact to the murder and concealing a serious indictable offence, but this was changed to the charge of murder after text messages were discovered between he and Milat, planning the murder at least a week beforehand. Milat had openly boasted to others, saying, "We're going out to Belanglo, someone's going to die," and after the murder stating, "You know my family, you know the last name, Milat. I did what they do." The audio recording of the last agonising 15 minutes of David's short life was played in the court, including the visibly distressed members of David's family. Dark poetry written by Milat while in prison was presented as evidence to his lack of remorse. One in particular read, "Hear the crunch of leaves and feet. Feel your heart skip a beat. Are you gonna get away? No hope, kid. This is your day. The day that you won't be found, 6 feet underneath the ground." Matthew Milat was sentenced to a total of 43 years behind bars, with a minimum period of 30 years. Cohen Klein was handed a maximum sentence of 32 years, with a minimum period of 22 years.
I honestly think Milat should have got life, and I think Klein should have got life. I just think, I hope they rot in hell. Because they've not only destroyed us, they've destroyed their own families as well, you know.
All I know is that karma takes over. I'll never forgive them. I'll never forget. And I just hope that someone else balances the books, you know.
In 2014, Milat failed in a bid to have his sentence reduced. The New South Wales Court of Criminal Appeals ruled that he should continue to serve his maximum 43-year sentence. However, Cohen Klein had his minimum sentence reduced to 22 years, with his maximum sentence reduced from 32 years to 27. In another chilling part to this story, when great-uncle Ivan Milat was told of his nephew's murder charges, he said nothing and simply smiled. The serial killer died of esophageal cancer last October 2019. Thanks for watching, And remember to subscribe for more murder, mystery and mayhem. Until next time.